Hey, what's up guys, Jackson here with Toasty DIY, and today we're going to be doing a full maintenance guide on a Gator TX, and this is also going to be applicable for many years of this model, the TS, the CX, the HPX, the HX, and so many more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So this is the kit that I'm going to be using. This is the LG259, and this is basically your seasonal kit right here. So it's going to come with a new air filter, 2 new spark plugs, a fuel filter, an oil filter, and then your oil. It's all John Deere brand for the most part, so you know that you're not going to have any issues and everything's compatible. And as far as tools go, we're not really going to need a whole lot, but if you just follow along, I'll show you everything you need. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is the fuel filter, not for really any particular reason. I think I'm just going to save the oil change for last though. Fuel filter is going to be directional. You're going to want the arrow facing towards the engine. And you really can use a multitude of tools for this. They make special pliers for hose clamps, but I'm just going to be kind of going back and forth between some Nippics and probably just needle nose like these here. But these larger flat needle nose work pretty well. So you kind of just want to get both of them out of the way. You don't need to take them off or anything. And then keep in mind this is a plastic fuel filter, so do your best not to break it off. All right, once again, arrow facing towards the engine. All right, now we can go ahead and return the clamps. And I do recommend once we get our oil change and we need to start it for the first time, that'd be a good chance to check for any oil leaks and also make sure that your fuel filter is fully seated and you're not leaking from either of the hose clamp areas. All right, fuel filter is done. So next up is going to be spark plugs, and as you can see we have these NGK plugs, and then we're going to be using a 13/16 spark plug socket. What makes it a spark plug socket is it actually has a piece of rubber in the inside so that your spark plug doesn't fall out. So it holds it like that, because the last thing you want is to bend the electrode or accidentally break the ceramic. These plugs do come pre-gapped. So we're going to go ahead and get our spark plug socket on here. We're going to take off our old one. And as you can see, our old plugs don't look too bad, but definitely ready to change. All right, we'll go ahead and take our new plug. And you don't want to use your socket, your wrench to put it on at first. You just want to hand tighten it all the way. All right, so we got it hand tightened. And then you're going to turn it a few turns, I would say, or probably about one full revolution, and then you're going to feel it snug down, and you want to go about, I would say, like half a turn. The plugs usually stay on them, but basically you have a crush washer that keeps the compression in, and you want to make sure that gets pressed all the way down. And also it's a really good thing if you want to put some dielectric tune-up grease. You don't have to, but it's definitely something I always did as a mechanic. Helps you get your plug out the next time. It keeps water and moisture and corrosion out. But we're going to go ahead and go on to the next spark plug now. So next plug, we're going to go ahead and pull off this boot. Once again, not worth doing this while the engine's hot, because it will be very hot. You pretty much have to touch the engine to get these out. And once again, these plugs do come pre-gapped from the factory, but it's not a bad idea to check and make sure that it's the right clearance, and also that the electrode's not like crushed down or anything. Next up is going to be the air filter, which is this giant air element right here. And this is going to be on the passenger side. You just flip your passenger seat up. So there's going to be 2 release clips, as you can see. And our old filter will just pop right out. It's kind of like a cartridge style oil filter, actually. And our old one wasn't actually too bad, but definitely a little dusty. This will definitely help with fuel economy a little bit and just keeping our engine clean. There we go. That was probably the easiest step so far. Okay, so for this step I have the camera in the best possible spot I could find, which isn't really much of anywhere, but you kind of have to do the oil change from up top. So obviously have your oil pan ready, a 3/4 socket. And it's right down here. Now you're going to make a little bit of a mess, of course, but you can basically just go ahead and get it started. And you should be able to loosen it by hand. I know it's probably pretty hard to see, guys, but this is really the best spot we could find. And while we're letting that oil drain, now would be a good time to go ahead and See if we can get this filter off by hand, and it looks like we can. Wow. Whoever changed this, whoever did the last maintenance actually did a good job. The fact that this is hand tight. So you are going to get a little bit of oil. It's going to come out of the filter. Kind of flip it up towards you to keep it from going everywhere. And then just two things you want to watch out for. Make sure that your oil filter, your old one, still has the ring on it, which I'll try to show you guys. So this right here, this gasket, make sure that that's on your old oil filter, or else you're going to double gasket. And then make sure this ring right here, which is an O-ring, is on your drain plug, and make sure that it's in good shape. But yeah, at least it's kind of nice to know that you can do everything from up top. You really don't have any reason that you need to get underneath it besides maybe to clean it off, but I should be able to get some brake cleaner and kind of angle it in. Make sure that you just hand tighten oil filter. There's no reason to go any tighter. So we're going to go ahead and reinstall our drain plug, which is just plastic, so it does not take a whole lot of force. Drain plug back in, oil drained, oil filter in. All right, so this particular Gator calls for 1.8 quarts of oil, so basically 2 quarts. That's why they give you 2. So we'll just see how that looks on the dipstick, but we'll either end up going probably 1.8, or we'll just end up just using the full 2. All right, and once you get what you believe is pretty close to 1.8, and it's okay if you're a little under or over, what you want to do is go ahead and return the oil cap back on all the way. Make sure that your dipstick is all the way in, and then you're going to go ahead and start it up and let it run for about 10 seconds because you need to let the oil filter fill back up with oil. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, I'd say that was plenty of run time. So let's go ahead and we're going to pull the dipstick out once. Go ahead and wipe any of the oil off of it. Make sure you reinsert the oil dipstick all the way, and make sure you're on as flat of a surface as you can be. And as you guys can see, I'm at like the very top of the full line. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but I'm right at like the top notches, which I would rather be towards the top than too low. All right, guys, so that was the full maintenance kit for the John Deere TX, and like I said, it does work for many other models as well, but as you guys can see, that was really easy. Even recording this video, I finished all of this in about like 20-30 minutes, so if you just follow along, you should have no problem doing this yourself in around that time. The only other maintenance that you are going to want to do a little bit further out is going to be that transaxle service. That's also going to be a fluid change. These are air-cooled, so you don't have to worry about any coolant changes, and then obviously there's a couple of other things like greasing fittings and bearings and whatnot that are a little more particular. So if you guys want to see any of that, let me know in the comments section down below. See you guys later. Peace out.